good. All right, start broadcasting.
Please save me from the monsters.
Tell me about George.
I mean, he's scared to death of everything.
But Ted, again, you see these eyes? They're old eyes. And one thing I can tell you, monsters are real.
Hello!
Hello!
Welcome to Talking Who, episode 13, and I'm joined in the studio with two wonderful guests, Lisa Gifford and Barry Aldridge.
Hello.
And together we are those video guys and a video girl.
Yes, a girl. The second girl, you had a girl.
The second
last week.
we had the lovely Andy from the Naked Scarf podcast
Lovely lady,
here in the
love.
studio. So
Who looked very much like Amy Pond.
she
I
was.
thought.
Did you think that as well?
Yeah, I did actually think that as well,
She
definitely.
was, she
Yeah.
was, yes.
And if Adam and Andy are watching, hello.
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 So there's our Twitters. I'm at Elicab, at Lisa Gifford, and at Barry Aldridge.
Yeah.
Just give us a follow.
Yeah,
Indeed.
definitely.
And of course you can tweet us at Talking Who.
Yes.
And
and we are live in the Ustream chat room. I'm in the chat room. I say hello to everybody. Hello Redders. Hello Elizabeth. Hello Gallifrey Times. Hello. Talk to us.
Yep. So and YouTube, those video guys, TV, Facebook, those video guys, at Twitter at those video guys, and at Talking Who, of course, and Google Plus at gplus.to/tvg. So it's how's it going? How's your well? Let's as a way of introduction to the audience, Barry. Who's your favourite Doctor?
For me, my first ever Doctor I watched was Sylvester McCoy, but my favourite has always been Patrick Troughton because he just brings a certain energy to the role and that. When I first watched his episode, because BSB used to do a weekend and they showed all the old black and white episodes, and when I watched Troughton stuff, I was like, he's amazing as an actor and really really gifted. And the other week when I was working at my job, I actually met up and saw Fraser Hines, one of the companions, and he was terribly friendly, really wonderful. But you know, Patrick Troughton, he just brought so much presence to the screen. Even if it's a dull story, he would make it fantastic. So that's why I've always rated Patrick Troughton as my favourite.
Okay, and what's your earliest Doctor Who memory?
Now, my very first one was Remember to the Daleks, episode 1, when the Daleks went up the stairs and the Doctor was locked. Now, I thought, that they'd done it so many times before, and then my mum said, that's the first ever time they've ever done it. I went, crikey. So I saw some really historic moments.
That's right.
Yeah, so when it came to Dalek back in 2005, all other fans were going like, oh my god, and I just said, whatever.
But they've travelled before, exactly. They can do it, yeah. Lisa, your favourite Doctor?
Yes. My favourite Doctor is John Pertwee, number 3.
Yeah.
Of course, he's just the man. He does everything. You know, he's a bon vivant. He's an action man. You know, he's a bit of a ladies' man. He's a great dresser. He was everything. He did it before Tennant did it. Before anyone did it. He was the guy.
Yeah.
He was the man, definitely. And earliest memory.
Yeah.
My earliest memory is Tom Baker. And I was very small, and there was, I don't even know what the episode is, there was an episode where he just kept someone was trying to kill him, and I remember that the thing I saw was someone tried to chop his head off, and as a very small child that just completely freaked me out, and I was traumatized. And for years afterwards, while Tom Baker was the Doctor, as soon as the theme music started, I would run away and cry, and literally not just hide behind the sofa, run out of the room screaming because I was terrified. It was only when Peter Davison took over that I really got into it, and then of course I watched all the old John Pertwee and then got into John Pertwee. But yes.
The Naked Scarf is in the chat room. I love a bit of action Pertwee.
Oh, you can't beat a bit of Pertwee.
Elizabeth Oriana says my favourite Doctor was Tom Baker. And the Gallifrey Times agrees Tom Baker is a good Doctor.
I mean, I think the first 4 Doctors had some great quality. I think all the Doctors are great actors.
They are.
It just depends about the different thing. I mean, It was just a shame about what some of the stuff that Colin Baker actually had. I mean, I've seen him in the play, and he was absolutely marvellous in the play. It's just some of the writing during his time wasn't up to scratch.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, and some of it was good, and some of it was bad. But you know.
But he himself was a great actor, and would have been, I think, a very, one of the top doctors if things had just been a bit more right for him. And it was a shame. It was a shame. But he's. I think I like his stories, and I liked him personally. But speaking of Colin Baker, this weekend, Lisa and I were at the Day of the Daleks launch,
which was fantastic.
Which was hosted by the Doctor Who Appreciation Society, and they announced him as their new president, honorary president of the Doctor Who Appreciation Society. And because of that, I joined straight away because I love Colin, so I was there to support him.
And we got to meet him, which was very exciting.
We got to meet Colin Baker as well.
Very exciting, yes. That was wonderful.
And congratulations, though, to Colin Baker on becoming president.
Yes, definitely.
And hopefully you'll watch this and exactly.
Yeah.
So Day of the Daleks. Well, we're going to be doing a proper review, obviously, when the DVD is released. But it comes out here in the UK September 12th, and in the US only a day later, September 13th.
That's good, because normally it takes like 2 or 3 months.
Exactly,
to come out, and
Australia is October the 6th.
That's understandable for Australia, definitely.
No.
So Lisa and I, we watched the special edition of Day of the Daleks, which has all new special effects in it and all new Dalek voices, because one of the big complaints of that story was that the Dalek voices were never correct. And of course, this was the return of the Daleks since Patrick Troughton. It was their first, the first Dalek story in colour, if you don't include the movies. And there were just things that weren't quite right, and they've kind of fixed that with the new CGI effects, and the Daleks invade Earth with more than 3 Daleks this time.
Yes. And it's seamless. This is the thing. It's seamless. It's beautiful. The way they've done it is beautiful.
We're going to show you a bit later, for those who are fans of classic Doctor Who, we have an interview with Daniel Hall, which we'll be showing you in 2 parts. Daniel Hall being in charge of the Doctor Who DVD range for 2 Entertain, and he'll tell us a bit more about that as well. But I really enjoyed it.
I thought it was fantastic. It was brilliant.
I would recommend the DVD.
Absolutely, it's one to buy. And what was really nice as well is to see, I mean, obviously 2 Entertain, an arm of the BBC, was to see them working with the Doctor Who Appreciation Society. It's something that hasn't happened very often.
Yes, no,
and,
yes.
Especially in this new era. And it's good to see, because it's something I've felt as being a fan maybe more of old Doctor Who, and I watch new series. I really enjoy the new series. I think it's great, but certainly I enjoyed the old series more, and something I felt is that they've not engaged necessarily with the fans, or certainly the fan clubs, in the same way. And I've always thought that's quite strange. It's almost felt like a little bit of a closed shop. And I think it's topical, because without naming names, there was something on Twitter this weekend that I saw where a writer of Doctor Who got very upset with one of the fan sites of Doctor Who, and those of you who are on Twitter will know what I'm referring to, because they released some quotes from an upcoming episode, and it got very public, and it wasn't very pleasant, and it just made me kind of think, well, is it becoming too much of a closed shop? Is it something that's becoming too much them and us? Like, we're the people who make Doctor Who, and it's our little club, and we don't want you to know anything about it until we say. And it takes away a bit of the excitement. Do you think?
No, absolutely. And the reason Dan Hall wanted to do the interview for Talking Who is because he wants Doctor Who, the official Doctor Who, to be more engaged with Doctor Who fans. If you're on Twitter, folks, right now, tell everyone to come to Talking Who right now, because we're going to be showing you part 1 of our interview with Daniel Hall. We have some exclusive Doctor Who DVD news in this interview.
Yes, he gave us an exclusive.
We have an absolute exclusive. So if you're interested about what's upcoming and what kind of extras we've got on a future DVD, Doctor Who DVD, we do have an exclusive. So we're going to be showing you that right now. But if you've got Twitter, tell all your Doctor Who fans to come on board right now to Talking Who.
Absolutely, and it's great. It's so great that 2 Entertain is so engaged with the fans.
Indeed.
It's fantastic, and that's, I think, is the way forward.
So before we get on to Night Terrors, here's our interview with Daniel Hall from 2 Entertain. Hi, this is Elisar again for Talking Who, and I'm here with Dan Hall from 2 Entertain's wonderful Doctor Who range. Welcome, Dan.
Welcome. Hello there.
We're here at Day of the Daleks. What can fans expect on this DVD?
They can expect an incredible product, although I would say that. Steve Broster, who produced this DVD, he's done an outstanding job. It's a great disc of a really beautifully reinvented version of what I think is a really loved story. There's great new special effects in it. Marquez has done some amazing stuff with the sound. Michael Dinsdale at Farmageddon has done incredible stuff with his CGI and all his weird madness. I don't know how he does it. And ultimately what they've done is created, I think, a beautiful, updated package for a great story. But what is amazing, I think, is that it sort of feels like it was made at the time still. So they've not kind of covered it in completely inappropriate CGI. It's quite good fun.
There's a screening right now, and actually I'm seeing kids in this audience. So, there are fans who are bringing their kids.
When this release was ready, when we finally delivered it nearly a year ago now, I remember thinking this has got to be our biggest release of 2011 for that exact reason, because it's kind of pacey, it's got Daleks in it, it's got quite a nice narrative, because although it's quite a complex one, it's actually quite easy to follow. I think watching it again now, I realised how well it's written, because it could be very confusing if it was badly written. And I think it's lovely seeing people of all ages and generations here getting completely engaged with it and really, really loving it.
It's been very impressive seeing with all the new special effects. How long does these things take to actually put together?
For a classic Doctor Who release, it's normally about 2 years. We tend to spend about a year making it, and then it delivers about a year, 9 months before it hits the street. For this, though, I think it was even longer than that. It was probably maybe 2.5 years or something. It's been a long time in production, and one of the reasons for that is our budgets aren't huge. So I can say to people like Steve and like Michael and Mark, we haven't got a lot of money, but you've got a lot of time, so slot it in when you have time free. And the other good thing about that is it means that they really don't feel the pressure of time, that they can really do something and then kind of sit on it for 2 weeks and then come back to it and go, actually, that's not quite working, I want to tweak that a little bit. So, quite a while. I'd say this one's probably about 2.5 years.
What kind of story do you think always deserves to be a special edition?
If a producer loves a particular story, they'll come and quite aggressively go, I think this should be a special edition. And I very much rely on that, because it's easy for me to pick out my favourite stories and say, oh, they should have more money spent on them. But that's ones that I like, and that's not the same thing as ones that the audience will like. One of the really good things about the producers is I really trust their judgment. When they come to me and say, we really like this, we think the audience will like this, I trust their judgment generally more than I would trust my own at that, because I'm terribly bad at sort of going, oh my goodness, I love this, I want to do a huge amount of things with it, and then thankfully somebody with a bit more nonce says, no, don't do that. I mean, for example, we do things like, it's not quite as much of a big special edition as this, but I've had Mark Ayres pitching to me to do a 5/1 on Greatest Show in the Galaxy. And at first I wasn't quite sure, but then he made a really passionate bid for it and made a really good business argument for it. And so we're now, this is an exclusive I think, but we're going to be doing a 5/1 mix of on Greatest Show in the Galaxy. Have a listen.
There you go.
Fantastic. Yeah.
Exclusive
really
news
good.
right here on Talking Who.
Absolutely.
The greatest show in the galaxy is going to have a 5.1 audio mix, which is a very rare thing for a classic Doctor Who DVD, which usually is just in mono.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think it's few of Sylvester McCoy's ones have got 5.1. I think the Curse of Fenric had a 5.1 sound one on there, like for their special edition, and a couple of other stuff. So yeah, I mean, like you say, it's very, very rare, but when you hear it in 5.1, some of the stories were pretty good. I mean, I remember hearing the Curse of Fenric in there, and it was pretty good though in 5.1.
Well, the Marquez, who works on the sound design on a lot of DVDs, he's just apparently been really pushing the boundaries of what can be done with sound, and he's just worked out whole new techniques and invented techniques.
Yeah, that he's actually invented techniques just for this that they can now use.
Yeah,
it's incredible. It's amazing.
You know, you're talking about audio where they've had to, you know, the audio itself is all mixed, but he's managed to just sort of break it apart, and it's just, it's incredible just listening, you know, about what they can do now.
Yeah, I mean, for Day of the Daleks, they had to strip out the Daleks' voice, and they've now created a whole new way of doing that. It's really exciting.
Yeah,
very exciting.
That's a good thing about technology improving. The restoration team, they keep on improving the way that they improve with the audio and the video. And that's how come, you know, sometimes some of the re-releases of some of the DVDs are better than the original ones. I mean, I've actually rebought some of the some of the stories, the Revisitation box set one,
Yeah.
all them stories, they're actually a lot better in terms of picture and sound. So they have done a reasonable job, and also better extras as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely.
It's great. It's great. You're really busy in the chat room this evening.
Yeah.
I have to say, I'm having trouble keeping up. We've got people saying their favourite doctors. Elizabeth Oriana saying her favourite doctor was Tom Baker, and Naked Scarf agreeing with me. A bit of action, Pertwee. And Gallifrey Times likes Tom Baker as well. And the Naked Scarf pointing out that the third Doctor action figures should come with a karate chop. I think.
Oh, yeah.
They should. They should like Action Man.
Yeah, like those 1980s action figures.
Yes. And I have to say thank you to Jitesh, because Jitesh has messaged in to say that the episode I'm referring to is The Leisure Hive. So I'm going to have to look for that one. I've not rewatched that, so I'm going to.
And hello to Ellis, Doctor Who Ellis, in the YouTube chat room.
Yes, hello.
Hello.
And hello to everybody in the Ustream chat room, which is frozen at the moment for me, but I'll come back to you all later.
Okay, so this week's episode, The Night Terrors.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
Written by Mark Gatiss.
written by Mark Gatiss, of course,
And
indeed.
also known for writing The League of Gentlemen, which I find really fascinating to watch. So, yeah, but he's much more of a Doctor Who fan, and also
You can tell he's a Doctor Who fan as well
Oh,
when he
yeah.
talks about it in Confidential.
Oh
Yes.
yeah, absolutely. And not forgetting, he is also one of the writers for Sherlock as well. So
He is.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
It's all a little
absolutely.
club, isn't it?
oh, yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, so the Doctor gets a psychic call from a young boy,
Named George.
George.
Yes.
Yeah, and his family are kind of like really worried because he thinks he's
George is sort of a very disturbed child.
yeah, absolutely. And they say if you've got bad things, put them in the cupboard, and the cupboard.
Is actually the problem.
Yes, indeed, yes, that's right. Yeah, that's right.
So yes, it's a sort of a TARDIS cupboard. So what did you think? I mean, all the hype was this is the scariest episode ever. Do you agree?
I have to be when I did my review, I'm gonna still stand by what I said in my review on Saturday. No, sorry. It had some nice touches and it had some nice revelations. I thought that was really good, and Mark Gatiss is good at bringing in the revelations and ideas and that. But on scariness, sorry, no. Sometimes though he can do it, but in this one, not in this one. Sorry.
The
guys.
creatures, though,
Oh, the doll thing.
the
was
doll
fantastic.
creatures.
Oh, absolutely fantastic. I will say though, really, if you remember the Empty Child and the Doctor dances, the way that they get touched, the people
Yeah.
turn into dolls, it's very, very sort of similar to that. I remember when I first watched, what was his name? Richard Wilson, Victor Meldrew, I think that was his
Yes.
name. And when
yes.
when I watched him had the gas mask thing on his
Yes.
face,
Yeah.
I will be honest with you, I thought,
That was more frightening.
yeah,
Yeah.
I thought that was really. I thought, should this go out at this time? And my dad at the time thought, you're talking absolute nonsense about it. I've seen far worse in the 70s.
Yeah,
and there was some stuff in the 70s that was quite chilling. And
Yeah.
The gas
with-
mask faces were more, as an image, more frightening. But the dolls were a great design.
yeah,
But as you're saying, there wasn't necessarily anything new in this episode.
What was so good about the dolls was the conversion of the landlord. Now that was very well done. Well, that was quite frightening. The hand growing slowly into wood and the morphing of the face. I think that was very well done. That was kind of the only reason the landlord was there.
Yeah.
Because my problem, I enjoyed the episode a lot. My problem with the episode was the periphery characters a little bit, because there was an awful lot. There's about 10 minutes at the beginning where they just ran around the estate, and I wanted that almost, having watched the whole episode, I almost wanted that to kind of be cut a little, so we got into the doll's house with Alex and the Doctor much quicker.
Yes.
Because I wanted to see more of the Doctor and Alex running around the doll's house, because that's what was fun and interesting. And when they got in there, and the thing with the pink scissors, which I thought was very, very funny, and the running around, and I wanted more of that. I wanted to see more of their double act. I mean, all the stuff in the house was very, very good. Oh, there, Alex played by Daniel Mays, who I'm quite a fan of.
very
and,
good actor, definitely.
Fantastic actor. And yeah, he was. Oh, see, I've got hot and bothered now talking about Daniel Mays. Yes, oh yes, Daniel Mays. Call me if you're watching.
The Naked Scarf says, I did feel the pacing in this episode was really off.
It was a bit. it was a bit misjointed.
It came and went, the pacing.
Yeah.
I mean, like I say, the stuff at the beginning, they were running around a bit aimlessly, knocking on people's doors.
Well, here we just lost it. Just if you scroll back up, Cameron Yard Jr. says one thing I would change about this story was the monsters took too long to come about.
Sorry, we're so busy in the chat room tonight that it's moving too fast for us to read at the moment. No, I agree, Cameron. I agree. There was so much at the beginning, and then I enjoyed the stuff in the house. And talking of the landlord, I did particularly like the scene where the landlord knocks the door and the doctor goes into the child's bedroom, and to put the child off being scared of the landlord, he plays with the child's dolls. I thought that was fantastic because that's classic. The doctor just being a good person, and it shows the way Matt Smith's great with kids, isn't he? He's fantastic with children, and that was wonderful, and the way they played off together was great, and that was a really good scene. But I wanted more of that kind of George and the Doctor and Alex, and then I wanted more in the house, and even Rory and Amy. I wanted more of them running around being scared, and because they walked around the corridors a little bit, and then they ran and they went in a room, and then she was turned into a doll, and I wanted more of. I wanted more. I wanted more.
With Amy's transformation into the doll, I think they were hoping for it to be a bit more scary. Like, oh my god, one of the companions has actually turned into a doll.
Yes.
But, however, I think it has happened before when, I think it was back in series 2. Similarly, it was a Mark Gatiss story as well, The Idiot's Lantern, which I'm not really a big fan of, to be honest with you. I think that was probably the worst one that he's written. That Rose gets trapped by the television and she becomes faceless.
Yeah.
So I think they were trying to go for the similar effect. Yeah. And also,
but then if it had been Amy who had had the longer transformation, like instead of the landlord, would that have been more frightening? Because you didn't see really Amy's transformation. You just saw her before and after, but you didn't actually see the long fingers and the.
But do you think that was because they thought that might be too distressing for the kids to see a companion? Yeah. But my problem with that was, once you've changed the companion into a doll, that they're all going to get changed back again.
Yes.
The ending is going to be that everyone's going to go back to normal, and that's what happened.
Yeah.
And that's a shame, really, because I would have liked maybe that not to happen and us to wonder whether or not we were going to get those people back, or if they were permanently changed. But what were the dolls?
Yeah. Naked Scarf is absolutely agreeing with you. They're saying exactly the same thing.
Yeah. Naked Scarf, you just said the same thing as I did. Exactly.
So no one's going to die.
Yeah. But what were the dolls? We never really established what the dolls were.
And why was a little boy given a doll's house anyway? Why would a doll's house be in a little boy's bedroom?
21st century.
But he's got all these robots and space things, and suddenly he's got a doll's house.
Perhaps he put the doll's house in the cupboard because he didn't like it. But it wasn't scary. Perhaps it was just, this is a girl's toy, put it away.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, the one thing is, when I did my review though the other day, someone said this could have been much better as a two-parter, which I felt like maybe, but maybe it would have been a bit disjointed as a two-parter. I mean, I don't think Mark Gatiss has ever written a two-parter for the New Who, so it'd be interesting to see. Hopefully, maybe he might be given the chance one day.
If you know Mark Gatiss's body of work, you can see where he's coming from. Victorian toys. Sherlock Victorian, but they've obviously modernised it.
Another note, I've heard you. Excuse me. He's actually afraid of dolls. Mark Gatiss is actually afraid of dolls in real life.
We've got in the chat room, I've got Chris Nottifer saying they were part of his imagination. They were nothing alien about them. So they could have been part of his imagination. I just would like to have known what the dolls actually were. What they signified.
If they signified anything particular, I suppose.
And Red has said as well that the ending came very quickly, which it did. They were running around and we were getting into it, and all of a sudden the Doctor figured out who the boy was, and it ended. And it was a lovely, very touching, moving ending. And I really enjoyed the final scene where he hugs his son. That's lovely. But we could have done with more.
The Toon Venture says, what is with the sudden use of shrinking technology? Because obviously, yes, in the Let's Kill Hitler, they get shrunk again. And in this story, they all get shrunk. So everyone's being shrunk all the time.
It's like the theme of...
There's the master behind it all, perhaps.
The tissue compression,
The tissue compression machine.
TCE, yes. Absolutely. No, and putting people in cupboards. Hitler was in the cupboard in the Let's Kill Hitler.
Yes. Cupboards.
Maybe Hitler was in the cupboard.
Perhaps perhaps everything. Perhaps the photos of the next week's episode with Rory with the magnifying glasses, because everyone's being shrunk all the time and he needs a magnifying glass to see everyone. We shall see. We shall
Who
see.
knows? Who knows? But I thought overall it was a good episode. It was a solid episode. I thought the performances were fantastic, and I thought the story was a great idea. It just wasn't all quite there.
Yes, I know. Yeah, I did. I enjoyed it. I had fun watching it. It was derivative of other stories. I mean, you could say Fear Her is not that dissimilar in the actual plot. A child and their imagination creating monsters.
That's true, but I know Fear Her is one of those episodes that nobody likes, but
No,
I really do. I like Fear Her, and I love this one. But yes, I think in the chat room
Could it have been a Sarah Jane Adventures instead, perhaps, as a Doctor Who? Do you think?
Worked as a Sarah Jane. Yeah, it would have been a nice Sarah Jane. I've got in the chat room. I've got Chris Noctifer again saying, "Oh no, it's gone again." You've all got to stop talking so the
So
chat room
quickly,
doesn't
indeed.
keep moving all
Well,
the
I'll
time.
read one out.
Yeah, go on.
The Toon Adventures says he has a theory why the Doctor has never met monsters out of order. Well, you'll have to let us know what that is.
Yeah. No. Oh, and it's gone again. I was about to read it out again, and it's gone again. Chris Noctifer says that he thinks there should be a follow-up when George hits puberty, because there was such good chemistry between Alex and the Doctor, and he really enjoyed the thing about opening the fridge and drinking the tea, the will they, won't they, go, don't go. Well, that was actually improvised. They improvised that on set, Matt Smith and Daniel Mays, because they're very good actors. So that was a great moment. I agree, absolutely.
Here's another picture of the two of them.
Yes.
Daniel Mays being very screamy there.
Yes.
Well, for those fans of Daniel Mays, of course, there is a fan club online for him.
There is Daniel Mays online. It's www.danielmays.co.uk, and there's also a forum on there, so you can chat about all things Daniel Mays. And there's a Twitter as well, which is @DanielMaysFan, so you can follow that. So everyone, if you're a fan of Daniel Mays, pop over. The girls on there are great, and it's a very nice forum. It's very welcoming, so have a chat.
Well, we've also had some Twitters in the week from fans. Reese says the episode "'twas sublime." A Police Box says creepy, funny, scary, all the things Doctor Who should be. Brilliant episode. Deborah Hasselt said, I scare easily, but this was not scary to me. Only thing I liked was the nursery rhyme, C+. And at Whovian 1990 says, it was brilliant. I think the darkness in the doll's house made it more eerie. My heart was beating faster than usual.
Yeah, just one more thing to mention. I do like the little bit at the end. I won't spoil it, but it has like a singing nursery rhyme.
The nursery rhyme, yeah.
I think that was fantastic.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that.
Which is something I guess may come back in a future episode.
I think so. I really think so, because it has that theme to it, and if you watch carefully, you'll know what I mean. So I won't give any more away on that.
I suppose one thing as well we should say is that this was moved, because this was originally going to be the third or fourth episode of the first series.
In
and
the
it got
Curse
moved
of the
into
Black
second.
Spot.
Yes, that's right. And that would explain why they're running around chasing after a child, but Rory and Amy aren't discussing their own child, which does jar slightly. Because you'd expect if they're looking for a child, that they might mention their own child.
I suppose this is actually would have, in the order they were actually made this to be, this is actually the ganger Amy and not human Amy.
And there is a mention to that actually in the text, because there's a moment where the Doctor sits down with them and says, "Isn't it nice that we're all here in the flesh?" And of course that was a nod to what was coming, but it was lost.
There you go.
They did reshoot the ending, the last piece in the TARDIS. Originally Frances Barber popped up.
Of course, to do a little...
and to do her little... Yes, but...
door opening. Yeah.
Absolutely. But no, I think it was a good episode. I'd say it was 9.5 out of 10.
Good.
For me.
For me, I'd probably say an 8 to a 9. I'd say probably 8.5.
Yeah, I'd probably give it an 8. It's a fun episode, definitely, and it's a good, solid Doctor Who episode, I think.
Definitely.
Also, forgot to mention about the chat. Thank you to the person who said I had a good fez.
That was Jitesh.
Yeah.
Hello, Jitesh.
Yes.
Hello.
Hope your new job at Love Film's going well.
Yes. And Cameron Yard Jr. points out the nursery rhyme is significant, and Gatiss keeps saying tick-tock in his tweets. Has anyone noticed?
You know what? That's something. Yeah.
Interesting.
Okay, so Phanoptica this week. I just wanted to mention that the new Doctor Who companion magazine is out from Doctor Who, the guys who make Doctor Who magazine.
Yay.
It's all about the 11th Doctor from the Christmas episode right up until the first half of this series. So, and it's got more photos than they've shown in the previous issues of the monthly magazine. So go check that out.
Fantastic.
Barry and I were at Summer at the City in early August, which is a YouTube gathering.
Yeah.
I bumped into some Doctor Who fans there. You probably recognise them, Barry, when I show you.
Yeah.
This is a very short interview I did with some Doctor Who fans at Summer.
Hi, John here for Those Video Guys and or Talking Who, and we're at the Summer in the City YouTube Festival with a couple of good doctors, plus one Amy. I'm going to go down the line very quickly. Sir, what is your name apart from Doctor Who?
My name is Stephen.
Do you want to just tell us a bit about what you do for a channel?
I basically make Doctor Who fan videos, which are me running around to the tune of the music and making them as epic as I can, because they are cool.
Have you guys seen his videos?
Yeah, I've seen them, yeah.
Yeah, they're very good.
They're very good, they're very good. What, do you want to just give us the name of your channel real quick so our viewers can check it out?
It's Rox Kylie, that's ROCKSKYLI.
This is a lovely young lady. You play Amy in Doctor Who, is that correct? Or
For today, yeah.
for today, but who knows in the future where it might lead. Do you want to tell us the name of your channel, if you have a channel?
Yeah, it's just my name is Ali Hazel.
And do you want to tell us a bit about the kind of videos that you make or are making?
Funnily, if I don't really do anything Doctor Who related. I've just started another channel and I'm hopefully writing a YouTube web TV series and blogging and stuff.
We look forward to checking that out. And I'm here with another fella who also plays Doctor Who in the hit BBC series of the same name. Doctor, could you just tell us your actual name?
My actual name is Anthony Gray.
Anthony Gray. And your YouTube channel, if you have one?
My YouTube channel is It's Anthony Gray.
What kind of videos could our viewers expect to find on It's Anthony Gray?
A mixture, really. I do sort of vlogging and little films and stuff.
Are they Doctor Who related?
Some of them are, yeah.
Well, guys, thank you so much. We're going to check out all your channels. From us here at Those Video Guys, hello. And everyone at Talking Who, thank you very much and good luck. Enjoy the weekend. Thank you.
There you go. Did you meet those guys at Summer at the City, Barry?
No. But
They were there on that Saturday, yeah.
Yeah, I think I saw them about.
Yeah.
Definitely, yeah. So, yeah.
So yeah, check out Rock Skyley's Doctor Who fan films. They're on his channel. So this week's DVD review, and it is The Sea Devils. You may have noticed the Sea Devil right here.
Yes.
Sea Devils. So let's just show you a brief clip.
Doctor, do you think you're doing the right thing?
I'm doing the only thing possible, Captain Hart, if we're to avoid a major conflict.
Suppose they won't listen.
Doctor!
All right, Captain Hart.
Karate action
Pertwee
from John Pertwee there.
Fantastic. See, we love him. Love him.
So yes, a third Doctor adventure. John Pertwee and Katie Manning as Jo Grant. Got to be one of the classic episodes, really. Absolutely. I mean, a classic monster, the Sea Devils. They really, really are. Just a fantastic creation. For those who haven't seen this or don't know about the Sea Devils are the underwater cousins of the Silurians. They're basically from the same genetic mould, but they've evolved to be an underwater version of the Silurians. They're not actually called Sea Devils, they're just referred to as Sea Devils by a man who's very scared of them. But I guess they really actually are just water Silurians.
Yes.
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah. I mean, the history with the Silurians was going back to the very first one, from the very first story. They were having trouble with storylines. That Terrence Dicks and Malcolm Hawke had a meeting, and Malcolm Hawke said, okay, you've got two possible storylines, alien invasion or mad scientist. And then Terrence Dicks was going like, blooming heck, he's absolutely right. So he tried to find a third solution, and he said, how about if the aliens were here all along? So that's how Malcolm Hawke came up with the Silurians. And a brief history, I will say, the first Silurian story was an absolute classic. Very, very dark sort of story, and Barry Letts and Terrence Dicks absolutely loved it. 7 episodes was a bit of a stretch, but it was brilliant. I absolutely loved it. And then Barry Letts and Terrence Dicks thought, okay, we'll go back to Malcolm Hawke because he's a very, very good writer, and he was Terrence Dicks' mentor. I mean, I've been watching a lot of the documentaries and that. I thought we'd give some insight in that. And so he asked him again to write a story with the Sea Devils, you know, like a sea version of it. And Malcolm thought, great, yeah, let's do it. And here we are with the Sea Devils, which is a great 6-parter in my view.
Indeed. So in this story, the Doctor goes to an island fortress where the Master is prisoner, because obviously they've captured him previously in the Mind of Evil.
No. It was the demons.
The demons, yes,
Yeah,
sorry,
in
yeah,
the
the demons,
last
yes, the
season,
demons, that's right.
yeah.
So they've captured him, and he's now in prison. And so the Doctor and Joe Grant go there to see and just basically check up and make sure everything's okay. And of course, they think it is, but of course, what we realise is that the Master is now in charge, and
he's running the show.
He's running the show.
Yeah.
The jailer, you know, the jailers, they're all under his power, and he's actually running the show. And he has worked out that the Sea Devils in this particular area are sinking ships, and he can ally himself with this alien force.
He will always take an opportunity.
He will always take an opportunity.
Yeah. Can I say this is my all-time favourite Doctor Who serial of all time, old and new series, the Sea Devils. I just think this is the one. I think it's fantastic. It's the best one. I love it. I think I've been asked to give a closer look at the camera at the Sea Devil figure.
Yeah.
So there he is. There he is.
There he is.
The only thing I don't get is why they wear clothes.
But we found out
in
the extras.
We have found it out in the documentary. They wear clothes because was it the director?
Yes, it was the director.
The director.
He saw the naked Sea Devils.
Well, I mean, they're just basically scaly monsters.
They're scaly monsters, and he thought it was obscene. And
Yes,
as it was a children's show, you couldn't have naked monsters running around. But I mean, animals don't wear clothes, so I don't really see why it's a problem. Sea Devils don't wear clothes.
And also, the original Silurians didn't have any clothing in their original one. So, but I can understand where Michael Brian was coming from. You know, about he wanted to protect the innocence and that. You know, with the kids and that, because he thought about the kids and the adults at the same time. Because as you know, during the Pertwee era, stories did become a bit more adult.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
Of course. But this series, Roger Delgado is best.
Yes,
isn't it? This one, I think he's just fantastic in this. He's he's the Master. He's suave. He's absolutely in control. He's playing the Doctor. He's playing Joe Grant, and he's loving it. He's loving it. And I love his escape at the end in the hovercraft. It's just the sort of cheeky look he gives as off he goes. It's fantastic. So.
And this is one of those stories. I mean, like the first Silurians, and actually like the Hungry Earth, the Doctor wants to make peace with this Earth species, who he believes has as much right to the planet as humans.
Yeah, I mean.
But of course, it never goes to plan.
Yeah, I mean that's one of the strongest qualities. That's one of the things I like about with Malcolm Hawke. He's trying to say, okay, let's make a political solution of peace and that, and there's always something going wrong. And with this one, to me, it wasn't quite as strong as the Silurians, because with the original Silurian story, you don't know who's the good guy and the bad guy. I mean, you don't know if the Doctor's opinion was the right opinion in the Silurian one, but in this one you can sort of sense, yeah, the Doctor's right, that the peaceful solution is down to it. I prefer a story where you can make the decision yourself, and that's probably why I like the original Silurian story a bit better, but this was still a very, very good story overall, in my view.
So yeah, just to say, for those who haven't seen this story, it's actually part of a box set, so you do need to, it's 3 serials altogether: Doctor Who and the Silurians, the Sea Devils, and the Warriors of the Deep.
Yeah, and we won't go too much into Warriors of the Deep, because that is one of the worst stories I've ever seen. If they ask me to, if you ask me to come in to review that, I'll probably just say no, forget it. All I can say here is I've tried watching it 6 times, and with episode 2, and I just turned off every time, even the Myra monster. But if you do watch that,
The Merca.
yeah, Merca, yeah.
Merca,
So
yeah.
I just warn you guys, Warriors of the Deep. It's not because of Peter Davison's performance; it's just how bad the story is.
Doctor Who Ellis in YouTube chat room says Warriors from the Deep was actually filmed in my hometown Portsmouth, and I'd just like to point that out.
Actually, though, I think the Sea Devils was filmed in Portsmouth.
It was.
Yeah.
The Sea Devils was also filmed in Portsmouth, indeed. Yeah.
Filmed in Portsmouth.
Yeah.
And I have in the chat room, I have got, and it you guys have to stop
I'll read
talking
another
so
one out.
much.
Doctor Who Ellis says, just to say, Lisa, you are looking lovely tonight.
Oh, thank you, Doctor Who Ellis. That's very sweet of you. Thank you. You can come again. We have got. Oh, it's gone again. Do you know what? You just have to seriously have to stop talking.
I mean, the Sea Devils design, love the design. I mean,
it's fantastic.
I mean,
it's fantastic. It's spoiled by a string vest. It's absolutely spoiled by a string vest.
But you know, that image of them holding their heat ray guns, it's just. I remember
incredible.
This from the Target books, actually, seeing the image of because obviously I wasn't around at the time of the Sea Devils airing, so my first impression of them was actually from the cover of the Target book, and I just love that image of the Sea Devil holding the ray gun. It's classic. It really is. We can make a connection. Let's show you a brief clip of the Master.
What are you watching? It seems to be a rather interesting extraterrestrial life form.
Only puppets, you know. For children.
Oh.
There you go. The Master discovers the clangers on his television set in his jail.
But what's wonderful about that is how engrossed he is.
Yes.
He believes it. He's absolutely engrossed in
you can see him pursing his lips, trying to work out how they're actually talking to each other in their whistling noise.
Yeah, he wants to know what the language is.
He wants to know what the language is, yes. And of course that was referenced by John Sim.
Yes.
In his story as the Master in The Last of the Time Lords.
Absolutely.
Which we'll show you right now.
Have you seen these things? This planet's amazing. Television in their stomach. Now that is evolution.
So there you go. The Master still hasn't, in all those years, still believes children's television look like real aliens to him.
Absolutely. And in the chat room, people are picking up on that as well. Chris Nottifer has picked up on the same thing as well. People discussing that as well.
And people are talking about who their favourite Master is.
Yes,
as well, so.
Cameron Yard Jr. I prefer Anthony's Master to John Sims.
Anthony Ainley's.
Anthony Ainley.
There
That's
you go.
interesting.
Well, keep telling us in the comments who your favourite Master is. Always very interesting to find out.
Absolutely.
For me, I would have to go with Roger Delgado. I think the nobility of his Master and the nobility of John Pertwee's Doctor, they just made such a great team, and you could actually believe these two grew up together and were friends, and that friendship is now at a complete breaking point. But John Pertwee, no matter how evil the Roger Delgado Master can be in his plans, if he can give him a chance to redeem himself, he would.
Yes, that's very true. I agree. I absolutely love Anthony Ainley and I love John Sim, but Roger Delgado, he just has something in that role. There's an elegance to him that no one comes close to.
I mean, I have to agree. I mean, even though I grew up with Anthony Ainley's Master in the very last classic series story, but when I saw Roger Delgado in Terror of the Autons on UK Gold, I thought he's actually got a charisma to him and a charm to him that was actually very, very sort of unique. And then when he became evil, it was like, whoa, where did that come from?
And Jitesh points out that Pertwee and Delgado were good friends in real life. They were.
Absolutely, yes.
And that's one of the reasons why John Pertwee stopped being the Doctor. It was after his death.
I mean, because
he just felt it wouldn't be the same.
Yeah, I mean, like we said, many weeks ago, when we was reviewing Planet of the Spiders, it was originally meant to be Roger Delgado's final story. I found out the title was going to be called The Final Game, and they did rough work, and the Master would try and do something about the universe, and it turns out he got it wrong and saved the Doctor, and he would sort of die. But you can sort of see that though in the End of Time Part 2, where he actually saves the Doctor against the Time Lord. So yeah, it does have that Holmes and Moriarty Reichenbach fall sort of thing, as Mark Gatiss has actually said.
Yes.
See, we're making a reference to Mark Gatiss in there as well. So
there we go. Oh, and a few people in the chat room like Eric Roberts, Master. I can't go
Really?
with you there. Sorry. Yes.
I will admit he was good in a pantomime sort of thing. I liked his sort of like Snake Eyes thing, but apart from that,
no. Moving on.
Now there's a very famous YouTube clip which actually takes a scene from the Sea Devils and changes it slightly.
Yes.
And this is from the Doctor Who fan called Babelcolor, youtube.com/Babelcolor. And this is his version of a fight sequence between the Master and the Doctor from the Sea Devils.
definitely worth checking. Have we got the clip?
Yep, and here it is. There you go.
Fantastic.
Lightsaber duel, the Master and the Doctor.
Fantastic.
That's just like a dream scene, really, isn't it?
It's
This is what you would have
wonderful.
wished could have really happened.
But how great do they both look? I mean,
It's just
works.
natural.
It
It's
just
natural.
works, doesn't it?
A very, very good scene, definitely. And it feels so weird because with Star Wars coming out on Blu-ray next week, so it's good though for that connection. Get in there.
And as the Naked Scarf points out, the best bit of the scene is the Doctor eating a sandwich afterwards.
It is,
and
yeah.
that is fantastic. That is fantastic.
For those who wanted even a closer look of our action figure here we go. This it's actually available from Forbidden Planet online. It's an exclusive Forbidden Planet action figure. You can either get it solo. Oh no, this particular one I'm showing you now is actually is a box set with the third Doctor. But there is also you can actually buy the Sea Devil by itself, but it's as a mainstream release.
Yes.
But this particular third Doctor in this cape is actually exclusive with the Sea Devil with Forbidden Planet.
And the Gallifrey Times is pointing out in the chat room that it looks like a fishing net what the Sea Devils are wearing. So
Yes, I think
that's a good
it's
point.
fine. You know,
It was actually a fishing net.
Yeah.
They actually got, because like we said earlier, that Michael Bryan didn't like them being naked, so one of the costume designers said, "Okay, we'll get some fishing net, bang it on top."
Barry, did you listen to the commentary?
I didn't have time though
No,
to
this
listen
one,
to the
no.
commentary this time round. I mean, I would have loved to have heard it because I've always liked listening to Barry Letts' commentaries because he's always very, very insightful in that. In anything like commentaries and documentaries and that, which I forgot to mention in the Planet of Spiders review, that he is very, very good at talking in that. And I'm trying to piece together which interviews were last because he's done so many interviews before his death because he knew. Because he had the cancer and that, he knew he was going to pass away, so he thought he'll do all these interviews about his life before he passes away and that, as much as he can, though, really.
But I can, my conclusion: go out and buy this box set,
Yes.
the Sea Devils, as part of the Beneath the Surface. I think it's a great box set. I mean, you get Warriors of the Deep with it.
Yeah, I mean,
but you've got two really good serials in there
Yeah,
with John Pertwee.
Yeah, two really. I mean, Silurians to me was really outstanding. Sea Devils just as close, just as close to it. And yeah, like Warriors of the Deep, just forget that one. But it's on Amazon for like a tenner, I think, last time I checked. So it is a really, really good price. I mean, it's definitely a really good price for two really good outstanding stories. And but I will say with Warriors of the Deep, it does have a good documentary about what went wrong in that. That's all I can say.
And it's got Tegan in it, so you can't go too wrong.
Oh yeah, I mean Tegan in there. I'll tell you what, Janet Fielding in the documentary, she's brilliant in them because she is so honest about how she felt about Doctor Who.
About how much she hated everything. Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. And even in there, she's in there with Peter Davison. They're sitting side by side together, and that I like that sort of touch because I know that Fraser Hines and Wendy Padbury did that during the War Games documentary as well. So, but yeah, anyway.
Cool. There you go. Yeah. Yes. So Beneath the Surface, go out and get that. So we'll now bring you part 2 of our interview with Daniel Hall about the Doctor Who DVD range. When you're making a special edition, and obviously probably more money needs to be spent on it, are there then other releases where you actually know that you could actually maybe shove some of the budget from one to another?
Well, one of the really great things about the classic Doctor Who range, and one of the great things about my bosses at BBC Worldwide, is we treat the range as a range, and we commission it and budget it almost like a television channel. And by doing that, it allows us to save a lot of money, because we don't just commission a documentary within that small budget. And instead, I can go to the producer and say, why don't you do a whole bunch for me? And then, just like if we were buying bananas or apples or anything, it's a lot cheaper per unit to do it that way. So by treating the range almost like a television channel, it allows us to make sure that money is spent fairly all over the place, because we can in fact save money by commissioning in bulk. It shows a lot of trust in the buyers and in the customers to support it by effectively treating it as a business model that is spanning across an entire element. I think 2Entertain recognise that classic Doctor Who is a very good brand defining product. I think they recognise that maybe it needs to have a slightly more focused team working on that and working within it to make sure that the market is satisfied, because they do insist on the best, and it's exhausting, but it's actually incredibly rewarding because it makes things like this happen.
Before Day of the Daleks screened, we had the trailer for the unit box. Can you tell us what we can expect on that one?
It's actually a cracking box set. I really like it. There's usual stuff, beautifully restored episodes and wonderful extras, but the big thing I think that everybody probably wants to see is the invasion of the dinosaurs, which we have got a colour recovery version of episode 1. Now, it's not perfect by any means, but we did the best that we could with the technology we had available, and I think it's brilliant. We weren't originally going to put it on, but I was so impressed by it and thought it was so good that I thought, well, we'll give people the choice. So we've got the beautifully restored black and white version, which the team has done they've done a fabulous job on that. And then we've got, for the real hardcore fans, we've got this colour recovery version as well on there. So hopefully there's something for everyone. And we're going to be premiering some clips from that colour recovery version at a Day of the Daleks screening that we're hosting in Melbourne in a couple of weeks' time. So anybody from Australia who's watching this, get yourselves down to the Day of the Daleks screening in Melbourne, and you'll be one of the first to see some clips from the colour-recovered Invasion of the Dinosaurs.
Fans around the world, what can you tell them about upcoming releases?
That there's a lot in 2012. It's going to be quite an expensive year, so save your pennies. I think it's no secret that we're coming towards the end of the range. I think what people will start to notice is what our marketing strategy has been, because I didn't want the range to fizzle as the VHSs did. There's a little bit of sense of the less popular titles were saved to the end. Didn't want to do that on DVD. So we've got some of the best stories and the most loved stories towards the end. So you're going to start to see an interesting momentum in the material, because we're in production now for everything, right up to the end. It's all in production. So that's the main thing to look out for.
Reign of Terror. How long will that take to actually put together?
It's being made now. So hopefully it'll be finished in March 2012. I've seen some clips and we started to see some material and it looks lovely. Quite excited about it. We have plans to do at least one other. We'll see how the Reign of Terror goes down and how people go with that. But there's plans to do at least one more. But it's an unrealistic expectation that we will do all of them. I think it's important to say that now. I don't want the market to feel that this is something that will roll out and will replace all 108 episodes. I really can't see it. I mean, never say never, but I can't see that happening. So I just want to manage people's expectations. But we will do as many as we can with the money that we've got and really push those budgets as far as we can. But there is at least one more in development.
Thank you, Dan. That was fantastic.
Pleasure. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you, and enjoy episodes 3 and 4.
There you go.
Another great interview.
Another great interview, indeed. Yeah. The unit box set. Really looking forward to. Invasion of the Dinosaurs. A story I've never seen, so I'm really looking forward to that one.
Wow.
Yeah, another story written by Malcolm Hawke as well, and very, very good though. It has a very, very good ending as well, and you'd be surprised about who the villains are as well. So I won't tell you any more than that. So.
Fantastic.
But yeah, I mean, even with, they said they got a colour recovery of it. I still liked it in black and white, no matter what. As long as the episodes are out there and they're there for us to watch, I don't mind if they're in colour or black and white. Just get them out there.
Just release them, indeed.
I mean, The Mind of Evil is all in black and white. I just like to see it all on DVD. I don't care if it's in black and white or colour. I just want it out there.
And so he hinted as well that there is one other story being developed for animation. Any preferences if it was up to you?
I'd say it'd probably be. I'd hope, yeah, if it was the 10th planet.
Yeah.
Episode 4. I mean, I think it might. Here's the thing. It might anger some fans because they might want to see the original regeneration sequence in live action, because that is the only clip that's sort of survived from that 4th episode. But at the same time, though, it's nice though to see the pieces of the puzzle together, and we can finally see a full episode 4. I mean, they did an outstanding job with Invasion, the animation. I thought, I thought this wasn't going to work at first, and then when I saw it, I was like, wow, it made the story even good, and it made that 8 parts so engaging. The animation, especially. It's just such a shame that they only animated the Cybermen for just one tiny little bit. Yeah. But at least they did give a trailer tryout just to say, it works.
So good. I have some more interviews that were recorded the day of the Daleks launch. We have one with Paul Winter, who's the coordinator at the Doctor Who Appreciation Society. So look forward to that on a future Talking Who. This week, Fright Night came out. David Tennant. What did you Barry, did you see this one?
No, not yet. I mean, I've seen the trailer. I mean, I will admit, I'm not a huge fan of Fright Night though, really, but you know, my family want to see it, so just because A, they like the original Fright Night, and B, because David Tennant's in it. So I mean, if there's any thoughts, I'll just say, well, what my family think. But I just didn't like the original Fright Night. It just didn't appeal to me. Sorry, guys.
Lisa?
I thought it was fantastic. I went in with no expectations whatsoever. I'd obviously heard all the reviews, heard what people had said. But that said, the paper reviews have been pretty bad, but the reviews I read on Twitter have been great. And I went to see it, and I thought it was fantastic. It was great fun. I mean, I've seen the original years ago. I don't really remember it. This was just a fun film. I really enjoyed it, and David Tennant is brilliant in it.
Well, Naked Scarf says the film stars David Tennant's chest.
Well, this is true. Yes, I mean, Redders has pointed out to me in the chat room that I was rather impressed with Tennant in leather, and yes, I was. I have to say, any film that has David Tennant in black eyeliner and leather is going to get a thumbs up from me, and this was no exception. But the shallowness aside, it was a very good film. It was very fun. I mean, what did you think? You were with me. What did you think?
It's an enjoyable horror film, comedy horror film. Is it of interest of David Tennant fans?
Yes.
I suppose.
Yes. If you're female and a David Tennant fan, you do need to see this film. I mean, David Tennant on the big screen in 3D in not very many clothes is go see.
So going back to a comment we read earlier, the Toon Ventures. We asked him what his theory was. The theory is, Toon Venture says, my theory is that stuff happens in the time stream, so that tells me that even though this about time travel, the time stream as of 2011, stuff happens in the time stream, but it never interferes with what happens when the Doctor has to travel through that. Don't quite understand.
That's
okay.
That's confusing.
I'm confused.
Right.
Maybe if we sat down and read it through.
Yeah, indeed,
There's a bit of a debate going on about David Tennant in leather in the chat room, which is a good thing. Gallifrey Times says this is not for male fans, and the Naked Scarf points out, oh, I know a few. Yes, I know a few as well who were quite impressed. So fun for all, I think.
Okay, so next week, The Girl Who Waited.
Yes.
What do you think so far from what we've seen?
I think the trailer. I mean, again, I think it's trying to push the envelope with the trailers. I think the trailers have been absolutely amazing this season, series, I should say. Yeah, I don't know why I'm getting the American phrases in that. Yeah. Actually, someone did point out when I did my review of Night Terrors. Yeah, I forgot the title. They said it had a sort of like a mind robber theme sort of thing, like that they're in this otherworldliness, and it's. What I also like, is I heard it's about the companions this time around that has to save the day and not the Doctor. So I think it's like, you know, in the past where they give the Doctor a week off and it's all focused on other characters, I think this is Matt Smith's week off.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, obviously I'll be discussing it next week. Hopefully with Sean, we'll be back. But yes,
it looks like an interesting one.
It looks like an interesting one.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, lots and lots been going on in the chat room all evening.
Some final comments.
A lot of discussion about pets and Doctor Who. I did mention that I would like to get a cat and call it TARDIS, and now everybody's saying that we should have the Adventures of TARDIS the cat. Cameron Yard Jr. says invention of the Moggy Snatchers. And I believe this was all started because Elizabeth Oriana told us the names of her cat, and they were Tegan and Nissa. Which is fantastic.
Brilliant names for cats. Tegan and Nissa.
Tegan and Nissa. I think, Elizabeth, you need to email us a picture.
We want photos of Tegan and Nissa. We will show them in Fanoptica next week.
Absolutely.
Here on Talking Who.
Absolutely. And also, we've got in the chat room, people are saying to us that they're really looking forward to next week. They think it's going to add a lot to the story arc, so it should be a good one. And a lot of people defending Moffat, because apparently, I wasn't aware of this, he's been coming in for a lot of stick on the internet the last few weeks, and he's been getting some abuse, which is you can never justify that. That's never on. And so nice to see people sticking up for the Moff. I think he's great. I think he's great. I think they need to readdress the way sometimes they talk to the fans, and I think they need to readdress with how severe they are sometimes about people putting pictures up from public filming, because I think if you're filming on public land, you have to accept that's going to happen. But no, Moff's a great guy. He's a talented writer, and he doesn't deserve it. So back off. And it's nice to see the fans defending him.
Yeah, I mean, I defended him during the spoiler angle. What it came down to, I think it was because the episode was premiered and some fans gave away details of stories, and it upset Moffat. I don't blame him, it upset him deeply, and I defended him. And so I was sort of like, you know what, I mean, if you want to do that, just don't tell anybody and that. So I'd defend Moffat, but there has to be a fine line that Moffat has to understand that fans are really, really passionate about it. I mean, it's the same sort of thing it's been going on all the time within Doctor Who, even in the classic series. Like, you know, there are some producers and that get constructive criticism and really, really harsh comments from fans. It's not because they're being mean, it's just they're being like passionate about the show. So
absolutely.
I think there has to be a 50-50.
Yes, there does.
Cut down the line.
The Naked Scarf says the Doctor Who Podcast Alliance did a special on spoilers recently, so
check that out.
Look out for that. Indeed.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Very briefly, Torchwood this week. Barry, did you watch it?
Well, no, sorry. No. I'll be honest with you.
Lost interest already?
I have lost interest, yeah.
I'm afraid I stopped on episode 5. I just couldn't take any more, and I've been rewatching the original series of Torchwood, and it just makes me sad because what we've lost. It's sad. I'm sorry. I used to be a massive Torchwood fan, more so than you.
Indeed, absolutely.
So, sorry.
Yeah, again, an episode. I mean, it was great to see John Delancey, Q from Star Trek: The Next Generation.
Yes.
But it's just another episode that's just sort of tumbling down, really. Just still waiting to see what's actually going to happen, whether we actually have any aliens. And we're now 7-8 weeks into it.
8 weeks. It's 9. Is it the last one this week or next week?
I think it's next week. Yeah, we're still a week behind the US. But talking about the Podcast Alliance episode of the spoiler episode, Naked Scarf saying you can find it on the Tumblr, which is nakedscarf.tumblr.com.
Yes, check it out. Check that out.
And Q was great in Torchwood, according to the Naked Scarf. He was great, and he was the only reason to watch it this week.
And also Cameron pointing out it's a miracle people are still watching it.
Okay, folks, that wraps it up for this week. We will be back next week to review The Girl Who Waited. So please come in and tune in. Tell all your friends about the show. Try and get more people to be watching us live and posting comments, although we won't be able to read them because there'll be too many comments being read.
They're going so fast, but we love it when you talk to us. Absolutely.
The video of tonight's live show will be up on YouTube in about an hour's time, so you can get that link and then pass it around everyone. That'd be great. Keep putting comments in YouTube. Favorite Doctor, your favorite Master. We'd always like to read that kind of stuff.
Definitely. And tweet us.
Tweet us, indeed. I'll just get the tweet up names again. We've all got personal ones.
Yeah.
At Ellie Cab, at Lisa Gifford, and at Barry Aldridge. Follow us all there.
Yeah. I need to follow you though, Lisa. So I need to follow you because I already follow your husband. So that's cool.
At Talking Who as well is for this show, and of course our YouTube channel, Those Video Guys TV. Twitter at Those Video Guys, gplus.to.tvg, facebook.com Those Video Guys, ustream.tv user/YTV.
Absolutely.
Thanks for watching, everyone. Thanks for all your fantastic comments. Keep them rolling, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.